Algebra benchmark 6.4, solving systems by elimination. When we eliminate a variable, we need to make sure that the x's are lined up or the y's are lined up. So be sure that here, like x's, the two x's are lined up and down vertically, and the y's are also lined up that way. These are, and I noticed that my coefficients in my y's are the same and they're opposite signs, and that's exactly what we want. We want a -4, +4. That means they're going to eliminate. So right away, I can just add these two equations together. I get 1x plus 3x is 4x. My -4y and my +4y cancel. I get 0y. And my -1 and my 13 add up to 12. Divide both sides by 4. We get x equals 3. Now we're not done yet. We need to plug in that 3 into one of the two equations. I'll erase this a little bit. If I plug 3 in for x, let's say right here, I'll get 3 minus 4y equals -1. Solve for y, so I'm gonna go -3 to both sides. So get -4y equals -4. So y is 1. And then write your answer as an ordered pair, x comma y. Always in alphabetical order. I found x first this time. So 3 comma 1. Put a box around it. Now if you have time and you want to be safe, take that same answer you got for x right here and plug it in for the other x. And when you plug it in there, you should get the same answer for y. You should get 1. And if you don't, then you know you did something wrong. Now the second one isn't lined up nice for us. We need to rearrange the second problem so the x's are lined up, the y's are lined up, and the equal signs are lined up. So here I'm going to bring the 2y to the left side. So if I bring that over there, it's going to flip and switch. I'm going to get x plus -2y equals -12. And then I have that 5x from the first problem plus 4y equals 10. So now everything's lined up. I look at the coefficients of the x's and the coefficients of y's, and they're not the same. So I need to change one of the equations, if not both, to make sure that they are the same. Now I see if I double the first equation, I can turn that into a -4, and then that'll cancel it with the 4's with the other equation. So if I take the first one, multiply by 2, maybe I'll write that down below. It gives me a 2x, a -4y, and a -24. These are my new equations now that I'll use. Now notice my coefficients of the y's are the same, 4 and -4, opposite signs, so we can add them together. Make sure they're opposite signs. I want to add these together, get 5x and 2x, that's 7x. And 10 and -24 is -14. So I get x equals -2. Take that -2 and plug it in up above. You really should do both places. I'll just do it up here because I have some space. 5 times -2 is -10. Plus 4y equals 10. If I take my 10 and flip and switch or add 10 to both sides, I'll get 4y equals 20. And that gives me y equals 5. Take my two answers, write as an ordered pair, -2, comma 5. Make it stand out. Again, double check if you want. Take that -2, plug it in for this x, or even that x right there. Plug them in, you should get the same answer, 5. For our final problem, my x's are lined up, my y's are lined up. The problem is that 3 does not go into 4. 2 does not go into 5 evenly. So we need to change both equations. Now already I have the y's have opposite signs, so I'm going to stick with the y's. I'll multiply the first equation by 2, kind of like getting a common denominator, and the second equation by 5. That'll give me 10s for the coefficients of the y's. So when I multiply the 2 through here, all three parts, I get 8x plus 10y equals -28. If I multiply the 5 through all three places, I get 15x. And there's my -10y and 5. Adding those together, my y's will cancel. So I get 23x and -23. Now the numbers are big, but the answer turns out to be pretty straightforward here. So x is -1. Now back in the original problem, I'm going to erase this. Plug in that -1. Oops. for one of the x's. There we go. So 4 times negative 1 plus 5y equals negative 14. So I take my 5y. This is negative 4 now. So if I go add 4, I get negative 10. Divide by 5, I get y equals negative 2. So our final answer, negative 1, negative 2. Put a box around it. And again, double check, plug in that negative 1 for x right here. I don't really have a whole lot of space here, but if you plugged it in, you should get negative 3 here, minus 2y equals 1. If I take that negative 3 and put it on the other side, I'll squeeze it in here, I get negative 2y equals 4, y equals negative 2, and I got the same answer as before, so I know that I'm right. Should be about it.